Title: Gang Bike and Drug Dealer. By K. Eek. The perpetual twilight of London's underbelly clung to the four figures as they mounted their machines. Saturday, May 18, 2025. The air, thick with the metallic tang of exhaust and the damp scent of the Thames, did little to dampen the grim determination etched on their faces, even beneath the anonymous black masks. Stanley, 22, the de facto leader, adjusted his goggles. Beside him, Paul and Mark, both 22, offered silent nods, their knuckles white on the handlebars. Benny, 21, the youngest and often the most anxious, fidgeted with his gear, the rumble of his engine a low thrum of unease. They were more than just friends. They were the Chrome Reapers, a phantom syndicate born from the city's forgotten corners, their true identities as shrouded as the fog that perpetually embraced their operations. Their informant network was as intricate and dangerous as the deals they intended to disrupt. Rowan, 27, a slick operator whose ambition outstripped his ethics, was their primary source. Timothy, 23, Rowan's loyal, if perpetually nervous, worker, was the conduit. Rabin would feed him the intel, locations, inventory, security blind spots, and the Reapers would extract their price. A cut of the illicit goods, a hefty sum of cash, and the exhilarating rush of controlling the narrative, even if only for a night. Rowan and Timothy, in turn, received their silent payment, a discreet transfer of funds that kept their mouths shut and their loyalty bought. Their operation had been brutally efficient. From the shadowed alleyways of Hackney to the grimy estates of South London, the Chrome Reapers had systematically targeted the city's drug kingpins. They weren't interested in territory or street cred. The goal was singular and lucrative: guns and drugs. Piles of them. The profits were staggering, allowing them to upgrade their bikes, the gear, and their lives, albeit those lives remained hidden behind the masks and the anonymity of the night. Stanley, in particular, felt the weight of responsibility, the need to provide for Chantal, his 21-year-old girlfriend, a beacon of normalcy in his increasingly chaotic existence. He envisioned a future, a life free from the stench of corruption, and this dangerous game was merely the stepping stone. But the asphalt was a treacherous mistress, and the shadows held more than just their prey. This Saturday, the intel pointed to a particularly lucrative score, a substantial cache, rumored to be heavily guarded, belonging to a rising dealer named Brian, 24. The target was a nondescript townhouse on the outskirts of East London, a place with a known high volume of traffic, both legitimate and illicit. The information, as always, had come from Rowan and Timothy. Heavy stuff, Rowan had assured Stanley, his voice a low rasp over the burner phone. Brian's holding a significant amount of product and a substantial arsenal. This is the one, Stan. High risk, high reward. The plan was meticulous, honed through countless successful raids. Disguised, swift, and brutal. Stanley, however, felt a knot of unease tightening in his gut. This raid felt different. The stakes seemed higher. He'd spent the week ensuring every detail was covered, every contingency accounted for. He needed this go-round to be as clean as the last. For Chantal, for their future. As the four bikes roared to life, a symphony of controlled aggression, they merged with the city's nocturnal ebb and flow. The townhouse loomed in the distance, a dark monolith against the bruised purple sky. They parked a block away, the engines falling silent, plunging them into an unnerving quiet. Masks secured, weapons drawn, they moved with practiced stealth, a unit of shadows on a mission. The back door, as predicted, was their entry point. The interior was dimly lit, the air heavy with the cloying scent of expensive perfume and something else. Something disturbingly familiar. Stanley's heart hammered against his ribs as he moved through the opulent living room. Then he froze. In the master bedroom, silhouetted against the weak moonlight filtering through the blinds, were two figures. One was undeniably Brian, the drug lord they were here to rob. The other sent a jolt of pure ice through Stanley's veins. It was Chantal. Chantal, his Chantal, entangled with the very man they were here to extort. "Is that you, Stanley?" Her voice, laced with a mixture of surprise and something akin to fear, sliced through the tense silence. She clearly didn't know the depth of his nocturnal activities, the blood that stained his hands when he wore the mask. Stanley remained frozen, the betrayal a physical blow. The carefully constructed facade of his life shattered around him. Brian, alerted by the familiar voice, scrambled to his feet. Seeing his opportunity in Stanley's stun paralysis, he bolted. Instantly, the Reapers reacted. The air exploded with the crackle of gunfire. Rounds pinged off walls, ricocheted through furniture. In the chaos, Paul cried out, clutching his arm. A bullet from Brian's desperate escape had found its mark. Brian, his escape facilitated by Chantel's unwitting betrayal, reached the relative safety of the street. His breathing ragged, he pulled out his burner phone. She knew, he spat into the receiver, his voice a venomous hiss. She called out the name. Stanley. He paused, the rage simmering. You know what you have to do, he commanded the voice on the other end. Tell me where they hang out. All of them. Chantel, trembling in the wreckage of the bedroom, her face contorted with terror, knew she had stumbled into a darkness far deeper than she could have imagined. The threat in Brian's voice was palpable, a chilling promise of retribution. The fear of death, a cold, hard certainty, eclipsed any remaining loyalty. Under duress, her whispered words, born of sheer panic, revealed the Reaper's sanctuary, the dimly lit warehouse district where their machines were stabled, their secrets kept. Brian, his face a mask of cold fury, relayed the information to his waiting crew. They drove, a predatory pack, their van a silent hunter in the night. The warehouse district, a labyrinth of forgotten factories and crumbling brick, offered ample cover. As the van screeched to a halt outside the main Reaper stronghold, rounds hammered against the metal. Stanley, Paul, Mark, and Benny, caught completely off guard, had no time to react. The night that had once been the Dominion became their tomb. The air erupted in a cacophony of gunfire, a brutal, unyielding symphony. Stanley fell first, his dreams of a future with Chantel extinguished in a single, brutal instant. Paul, his arm already wounded, met the same fate. Mark and Benny, no match for the coordinated assault, were cut down in the crossfire. The Chrome Reapers, the Phantom Syndicate, were no more. A year later, in the sterile quiet of a maternity ward, Chantel cradled a newborn son. The baby, oblivious to the devastating legacy he represented, had Brian's eyes. The shadow of the Chrome Reapers had been long, and its end was absolute. The silence that followed the demise was deafening, a stark reminder that in the city's unforgiving underbelly, every action, every betrayal, carried a price that could never truly be repaid. The end. Story by Kayode Ike.